When I first started attending here at UUFD back in 2007, I was looking for a way that I might volunteer my time and talents, as we call them, to best serve this congregation. I had studied communications, I took speech in high school, and I'd already spent some time in the pulpit at the First Unitarian Society of Denver, where I first became a UU member around 2003. Becoming a worship associate seemed like a good fit for me. I first began attending UU when my mom was in nursing care and my first marriage was in decline. I found that I needed more moral support from a spiritual community. It brings me much joy to talk about our Unitarian Universalist values in the welcoming words, reminding me to live these values every single day. And maybe, in a small way, I can help others to recognize how the Unitarian Universalist faith can be a support in their lives as well as mine. This is my hope. I also deeply enjoy reading, writing, and contemplating spiritual topics. Finding nuggets to incorporate into my worship service script helps me to nourish my own spiritual life and ripples through my life in ways that I benefit from. Sure, it's work, to assist the minister or work with the guest speaker in preparing the service. Yet, even though I work full-time, volunteering as a worship associate can easily fit into my schedule. I can work on my script at home in the morning before work and finalize my prep on Saturday before the service. One of my favorite parts about being a Unitarian Universalist worship associate is that I get to dabble in words for worship. That's a section of the UUA website that has words available. I also invite the volunteer chalice lighters to explore this resource. You can go onto Words for Worship, log in, you gotta log in now, they just recently changed that. Enter a component, like, maybe I'm looking for offering words, or I might be looking for a meditation or chalice words. And then you can also type key words like joy or presence or trust. Dozens of ideas come up written by other UUs, and it's a great resource. Sometimes, this is kind of fun, in the week or two before service, I might be reading a book or listening to a book on tape or talking to a friend, and some little gem will find its way into my worship script. I love how serendipity plays in my life like that. This too is a spiritual practice, the art of paying attention. I really thank this team. I'm so grateful to be part of this worship associate team, and I thank you all for this opportunity. It's my gift to you that keeps on giving back to me.
We all so appreciate the physical beauty of our sanctuary. This wonderful window, the graceful wooden arches of the ceiling, the seasonal quilted podium cover on the chancel stand, and the unique, designed with love, podium here and our candle stand. If this were a theater, these permanent aspects would be called the set, and they don't require any weekly attention. But then there are what would be props for a performance, and these need someone to check on supplies, procure the items, and set them up. For many years, Judy Hayes has donated the candles we sometimes use for joys and sorrows. I order a carton of high-octane alcohol for the chalice when we start to get low. It burns cleaner. And every worship associate checks these supplies, along with making sure that the water bowl is filled and that there are enough stones placed in each basket. Come Christmas, Teresa Jordan marshals a luminarium crew. But it's the every Sunday flowered. You didn't really think I forgot those, did you? It's the every Sunday flower arrangements, which could use more volunteers. not counting the month of December, which the wonderful Connie Jacobs and her usual poinsettia ladies handle for us. There are 45 Sundays, which require 45 vases of flowers. Last year, I kept a list. We had a total of 25 women. And it's always women, guys. Listen, this is so easy, even a man could do it. I'll give you a workshop. This means that most of the ladies who did this did it at least twice, and some more than that. Our services would still be inspiring. Are you volunteering?
I am, and I want to ask if we get to take them home afterwards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our services would still be inspiring and wonderful without fresh flowers, but I think we would miss them if they weren't there. And I just happen to have a signed-up list. Look for the Lady in Flowers. They'll be available over in Bowman Hall. The Time for All Ages is under the direction of our hardworking faith formation director, Sharon Minery, who spends hours locating, cutting, copying, and delivering these stories. But every one of the worship associates here has done the story at times, and we love doing it. However, choosing a good story can be more difficult than it might seem. It needs to fit our UU values without being so didactic as to lose all entertainment value. If there are illustrations to be projected, some of them are going to show up better than others. And hardest of all, we try to bring it in under 5 minutes. So thank you, Sedella Marley, for the very brief story that I read earlier, which I think fit those criteria. So these are just a few dozen of all the great volunteers who help put the co in co-directing worship.
One of the objectives for the worship associates leading this service is not yet clear. We wouldn't mind having another worship associate or two join our team. It's nice to spread the work out. The team is a joy to participate in and with. We had a 2-hour meeting yesterday. Our meetings are lively and but thoughtful. We really like, who was it that Lisa said, we're still working the land acknowledgement. You know, we work issues like that. I want to touch on why I decided to become a worship associate 7 or 8 years ago now, and what I get out of it. Having served as treasurer at our previous UU church in Houston for 7 years, and shortly after arriving in Durango, getting recruited by then longtime treasurer Ron Garst to become chair of the finance committee, I held him off for 2 years. I was looking for a way to deepen my spiritual exploration practice. In addition, being a natural introvert, I thought helping the minister lead Sunday worship might bring me out of my shell. Well, it worked. It worked. Reverend Katie did a nice job sharing elements of worship with us and pointing us to the many UUA resources that support how we conduct worship. Reverend Jamie is also very committed to co-creating worship with us. I really enjoy preparing for an upcoming worship service. For example, as I search for, say, the perfect reading that complements the minister's homily and amplifies that month's worship theme, I benefit from reading a wide range of possibilities from UU and other faith traditions. Finding or writing a compelling short message for lighting or extinguishing the chalice can also be rewarding. And I enjoy interacting with the song leaders, musicians, ushers, and Zoom hosts. It takes a village to bring this worship service to life. We take our role seriously, but we do have fun doing it. The worship associates' responsibilities expand when we have a guest in the pulpit. We reach out to them a couple of weeks in advance to determine what elements of the service they're comfortable doing. As we learn more about their planned message, we better understand what our expanded role will entail. So for those of you thinking about you'd like to know a little more about this, Mary mentioned this too. Spend some time with the readings in the back of the gray hymnal. I'd also recommend farfringe.com, which has helpful and often very lively commentary on all of our hymns, a lot of the background and what it means to the writer of that commentary. And as Mary mentioned, you could Google Worship Web Library, and there's just a wealth of resources there. Thank you.
Shared ministry is the thread through everything we do. Shared ministry also connects us to all Unitarian Universalists across the world. We are bound by the expansive love at the center of this faith. We are called to be diverse, multicultural communities that aspire to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. The UUA bylaws state openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. Surrender is part of the experience of embracing diversity. How does this relate to worship planning? You should see me researching chalice lighting words, for example, on Worship Web, aforementioned extensive UUA search engine for all things worship. One is ableist, the next is elitist, another assumes honesty is safe for everyone. And this one uses patriarchal language. All the while, I'm checking the authors. Are they white, a person of color, what gender? I'm exhausted now and wonder if I should just send my own words to the UUA. I constantly use this for church work. Characteristics of whiteness versus characteristics of diversity culture. Perfectionism versus an expectation of mistakes, especially in worship. I've made many mistakes in worship. In fact, I would say I always make mistakes in worship. A right to comfort versus embracing discomfort. When something in a worship reminds me I'm racist or just wrong, not comfortable. Worship of the written word versus stories and oral traditions. Timeliness and punctuality is a characteristic of white culture. Anyone notice worship has been going over an hour sometimes? That's diversity culture. Diversity culture dances, sings, and eats together. Now we've got that one. We're not all bad. That's not the point here. The point is personal, collective, and theological evolution. The point is commitment towards multiculturalism, and that includes worship.
Each Sunday, from the minute you walk in here to the minute you leave social time or reflection time, you are a part of something special. You see 13 to 15 of those who are a visible part of putting a service together, and there are another 3 to 5 unseen in the wings who have done a lot of work as well. We are part and participants in this universe together and in this hour together. This is shared ministry, and you are a part of that sharing. Here in the sanctuary, there on Zoom, sometimes at home when you can't be in either place. You are a part of this shared ministry. We are stirred like leaves rustling around sacred trees, tossed hither and yon until we come to rest together, quietly, softly. We come here to gather strength from each other. We come to give strength to each other in covenant. We come to ask for strength from the Spirit of all that is and is not. When our hearts sing or frown, it is the way of compassion telling us to give. It is the way of peace telling us to share our gifts. For we are happiest and most powerful when love is made apparent in and through all of us. We give thanks for this gift of ministering to and with each other. We celebrate with open hearts and minds. We discover who we are, separate from each other and within one another. And we work toward widening boundaries until there are none left. Shared ministry, collaborative, interconnected, recognition of each other's gifts, and contributions recognizing the value and empowerment of all, of every one of you here, there, and out there. If you would like to further explore becoming a worship associate, I have a little short piece of paper that you can catch me with later. We will be doing a reflection time. I'll have some of them there as well. We welcome you into this space however you need to be and want to be. We are thankful for this shared ministry with you. Namaste.